Hey, welcome to Lee's Knowledge Sharing Wednesdays. Let's get started.
My soul longs for you, you alone, you alone. When usitsabelo saka,
Hi everyone, welcome to Lee's Knowledge Sharing Wednesdays. This is Ulihle Matomane and today we have Omphemetse and we are shooting from the Botanical Gardens. Welcome, my lady.
Thank you, lady.
So today Omphy will be sharing about her journey, her experiences and what she does. If we can start, Omphy, if you can please tell us about yourself, just so we can get to know you, the viewers can know this beautiful lady. Who you are, what you're about, what you love, you can just share that.
Okay, so as Ulihle has already said, I'm Omphemetse, originally from the Bloemfontein in the Free State, but I've been living in Gauteng for about 11 years now.
Okay.
I came here in 2010 when I got my first job, actually.
Okay,
Yes.
interesting.
And what else? I studied at the University of the Free State because
Okay.
I am from Bloem and I did my BSc genetics there.
Interesting.
What do I love? Oh, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I'm an aunt, and obviously a career woman. So I've got a lot of hats that I wear every day, depending on what the need is.
Yeah.
And I just love music. I actually make music.
Yeah.
I love laughter. I love to laugh a lot.
Yeah.
I love love, and I just love life. in
Oh,
general.
that's so beautiful,
Yes.
my lady. Okay, so you did say you have a lot of
Hats that I wear,
that you wear. How do you juggle? Where do you find the balance between being a mom, a wife,
Sure.
a career woman? Because it can be very difficult.
Lots of grace.
So
Yes.
yeah, how do you cope, Grace?
Lots of grace.
Okay.
And I think you make time for everything.
Okay.
Everything is about making time for it. I've got very busy boys, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Sure.
And then my career is also very demanding because I do a lot of traveling. So yeah, you make time.
Okay.
The other day my boss was actually saying, why are you sending me emails at 4 a.m. in the morning? I'm like, boss lady, that's the only time I get to catch up
Oh,
because
yeah,
that's
because-
the time when they're sleeping.
Yes, exactly.
And I get to concentrate and I've had a bit of rest from the previous day.
Okay.
So yeah, I think like I'm saying now, everything is just you make time for
You
it.
just juggle and see
Yeah.
how you make time.
Yeah.
How are you finding being a mom of boys which are so close in age, like 4 and 2? That's very close.
Shoo, it's hard. People made it look easy. People like you made it look easy.
No.
But it's really hard because my 2-year-old is at that stage where he throws tantrums for everything. He'll ask for a banana and it's like, I want a banana, and he rolls on the floor.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's the two.
Yeah,
the
and then the
terrible
4-year-old, you tell him something and he talks back. He thinks, I know everything now. I'm the big brother. I can tell you, no, don't say that to
Yeah.
Dambo, or don't do this or don't do that. So
Yeah,
it's,
so
it's quite challenging.
challenging.
But at the same time, when they're not there, I miss them so much. I miss my chaos.
Yes.
You get so used to the chaos.
Yeah,
so,
you do. So what would you say has been the most challenging thing about being a mom? And because I know you're saying you have the different hats and
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
but what would you say is the
Being a mom
most
specific?
the most
Potty
challenging? Potty training.
I was never ready. That is, sure, for me, yes, being a mom. Oh yeah, lack of sleep, but you get used to that. But the potty training is hard.
difficult, is
yes.
it?
Because my 4-year-old, even now, he still has his relapses. And I thought by now he'd be okay so that I can focus on the 2-year-old.
Yeah.
But no.
It's difficult.
We're not getting there. So
Yeah.
I'd say the hardest thing for me as a mom right now is just potty training.
And how are you coping with? Because I know hubby is out of the country.
So my husband is in the UK.
I don't know, because I mean, if hubby's
Yeah.
also not around.
Yes, sure. Yeah, it makes it difficult. So he moved there in 2019, September of 2019. And the plan when he moved there without us was for him to come every 3 months.
Yes.
And then COVID happened.
Oh yeah, so you couldn't now come.
So he couldn't come last year,
Yes.
the first time we saw him. So he left in September of 2019 and then he came to visit in December and left again in January of 2020. So things were still normal there.
Yes.
And then in March, boom, we had to go into lockdown. and now we don't know when he'll be able to come. You know,
Oh my
because the thing
goodness.
is, when we had the hard lockdown here, they were fine there. And
Oh, so now when we relaxed, they were locked down
under
as
hard
well.
lockdown as well.
Okay.
So he could only come. Literally, we only saw him in November.
Sure.
Yeah, and then he was here for 3 months, left again in January, and now it's March. We still don't know if we're going to see him or not. But I think this year is a little bit easier than last year because last year it was all new.
Yeah,
We
so
had a
now,
plan,
yeah.
and now the whole plan had to change. So now we're a little bit used to it. So it's just we take it one day at a time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it goes to show that we can plan, but things don't always
Things
go
don't
the way we
always go.
plan.
Yes,
So we must just be
definitely.
flexible.
Yeah, and then the video calls as well. We video call every week.
Okay.
It is a bit difficult for the boys because then afterwards they'd cry for him
Yes.
and stuff because
Yeah.
they want him here. But yeah,
But
we're making it work.
and how are you finding it as a wife? Because the mother, okay, fine, but wife not having your husband around.
Yes, it gets lonely. Like you know, you spend
Yeah.
Valentine's Day on your
On your
own,
own,
and you
and
spend
you
your
see other
birthday. I had my
people.
birthday last week, and I spent it on my
yes.
own. So it's hard.
It's hard.
It's really hard. Yeah.
How do you, what is your coping mechanism? You've been mentioning grace a lot.
Yes.
So I take it you pray a lot.
Yes, I pray a lot. I listen to worship music, especially the days when I just feel like everything is overwhelming, because it does get overwhelming. And, you know, sometimes I just sit in my car and I let it all out because
Yes,
it's
you
good
do
to let
need
the
that.
emotions to,
Yes,
you know, otherwise you're going to
definitely.
blow up and, you know,
Yeah.
take it out on everyone. So
So
yeah,
in your
sometimes
car
I just
and-
play worship music. The thing I love the most about my job is I get to travel, and that's the time I get to be alone.
Okay, yes.
And so that alone time helps me to also connect with God and ask Him for strength. You know?
Yes,
And the worship
definitely.
music as well. Like I said, I love music. So I listen to worship music and I'll cry in the car. And then when I get to my client, I'm like, quickly,
Fine.
see the client, I'm good. And for the rest of the day, I'm
Sure.
really, really good. So also, it's important when you feel the emotions, don't block them in because then you'll
Yes,
explode. So when you feel
definitely.
it, you know,
Let
find
it
the time,
out.
yes, to
Let
let
it
it out, so
out.
that you do feel better afterwards.
Yes, yes. So please let out the emotions. Don't hold them in. Let them out.
Yes.
Okay, Omphy, so we've gotten to know you a bit. You studied BSc in
Genetics.
genetics. That is so interesting.
I know.
Yeah. So what exactly does it entail? Are you guys like checking how genes, like, you know, offspring? Like how
Yes.
how does it work?
So, I've worked in a lab that specifically does genetic testing on embryos. So they worked with fertility clinics for couples that are struggling to have babies the natural way.
Oh,
So then they go for IVF. But now the important thing is to test the embryos before they're implanted into the mother.
mother.
Because if there are genetic anomalies or genetic defects, rather in simple terms, if there are genetic defects, it can
Yes.
result in miscarriages.
So genetic defects would be what? Because I saw when I read
Yeah.
about it, was speaking about there should be enough certain like sperm and egg and how,
Yes,
like so what
so-
are the like
Yeah. So
Yeah.
as a person, you get 23 chromosomes from your mother and 23 from your father. So you
Okay.
get half of each.
Okay.
That's why you'll have like your father's eyes or you'll have your
Oh,
mother's
yes,
lips, because you have half of each.
Yes.
So sometimes you don't get the full set and you get one that's maybe
More.
deleted, or you get an extra one.
Oh.
And like for instance, in trisomy 21, or what people know as Down syndrome,
Okay.
there's an extra chromosome of chromosome 21.
Oh,
Yes. So that's what
okay.
we would
Hence
call a
what-
genetic anomaly or a
Okay.
genetic defect.
Okay.
So that's why we have to check for those things. So there are three major ones. It's trisomy 13, it's trisomy 21, and then it's trisomy 18.
all these terms. Yeah.
So trisomy 21 is what people commonly known as Down syndrome. And that one, the baby gets to live. It's just that their lives will be a little bit different.
Okay.
So with trisomy 13 and trisomy 18, they don't. If they do live, they don't make it past 2 weeks. So
Okay.
most of the time,
When they find that in
when
the
they find
embryos,
that
they
they
don't
normally
implant it.
they don't implant it, or if the mother was already pregnant and then they test for it when you're pregnant, you have to make a decision whether you're gonna give birth to that baby or you have to terminate. So
Sure, it's a
that's where it
difficult
gets a little
one
bit
as well.
difficult.
Yeah,
Yes, that's
yeah,
where it
because
gets a little
then
bit
it also
difficult.
affects you, like, you know, your values
Yes,
and all of those
yes,
things.
exactly. So that's where it gets a bit tricky.
Okay, so you work there, but you're no longer there now.
I'm no longer there now. So
Okay.
with the lab setting, sure, the working hours were long, and I had to work weekends, I had to work night shifts, you know, so public holidays. And with my family setting, it wasn't working so well anymore. So in as much as I loved the work,
Yes.
I had to think of, you're not just a career woman, you're also a
Yes,
mother,
you're a
you're
mother,
also
you're
a
a
wife. So
wife,
you need to
yes.
put that into consideration as well.
Yes,
So
that's
that's when I
important.
started looking into rep work.
Okay.
Yeah, so working as a medical rep. But that wasn't the plan for me to be in nutrition. I don't know why God led me there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't the plan for me to be in nutrition. I was looking more into pharmaceutical or even being an application specialist in the lab. But yeah, I
Okay.
got something in nutrition and I'm enjoying
That's where you
it.
are. Okay. Before we get to the nutrition and what you were doing there, what did you study? Did you know in high school what you wanted to do?
Not at all.
Because yeah,
I
that's always
wanted
a
to do
challenge.
music and then I wanted to be a psychologist because I'm a good listener.
Yes.
And then I wanted to be a doctor. I was so confused.
Yeah.
So in my high school, all the brilliant kids had to do science. Whether you liked,
Okay.
whether you were good with accounting or you were good with whatever, you had
Yes.
to do maths, science, biology.
So you.
I was
So you were the
forced into
brilliant
it.
one. So we taking it that you were the brilliant one. So straight A students. Because that's another one I wanted to ask. Because this tends to be the focus be
On the science,
on the
yes.
A+ students and everything. So to do that, it only required science,
yes,
maths,
science,
and
maths, and
biology.
biology.
Okay.
So I was really good with biology. Maths and science were okay.
Okay.
Yes. So when I got to varsity, initially I applied for biotechnology actually.
Okay.
But then in first year when we did entomology, which is the study of ants and
You didn't
bugs,
like it?
ooh, no.
You said no.
I was like, no, this is not for me.
Okay.
But when we did the genetics side of things, gosh, I just fell in love. It was so interesting for me that, you get to know things from a molecular level, like from the time you're a little molecule and then you become an egg
That's
and then you
actually
become
very
a
interesting.
human.
Yes.
And then you know why you have these certain features from your mom, these certain features
So
from
you
your
understand
dad.
all of that.
Yes, and then there's also the environment that affects how you turn out, your personality.
Okay.
And so
That's
I
so
found
you
that
fell in
interesting.
love
So
with
then
that.
I changed my degree from biotechnology to genetics and molecular biology.
Also, you had that option first year
Yes,
of changing
yeah.
it after.
You have the
Okay.
option. You
And
had
then
the
it,
option,
it
yes.
takes you how long? 3 years?
3 years. Yes.
Okay, and then that was it.
Yeah. So I'm the firstborn of 3 kids. So when I finished my degree, my siblings were both in matric, so I had to make space
Oh,
for
make
them to
space.
study. Yes, I couldn't do postgrad. But the wonderful thing is, when I started working at the lab that I worked in at the time, they had internal programs that you could do.
Okay.
So it's like certificates. That's why I could write board exam in medical microbiology.
Oh, so you
Yes.
also wrote board exams.
I wrote
Oh,
board
okay.
exam in medical microbiology because I could do in-house training in medical microbiology.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. So that was a requirement that you have the training as well before you could write the board
Yes.
exam.
So in order for you to practice in a medical laboratory, in other words, to run people's blood samples
Yes, the
or
test and everything.
to run their tests and then to send them to doctors, you have to be registered with the HPCSA.
Oh, okay.
And at the time, genetics and molecular biology didn't have their own division. So
Okay.
that's why I had to go into
another
medical
route.
microbiology.
Okay.
So that's the nice thing about science. It's all connected. Because even now I'm
Yes.
doing nutrition.
Yes,
but the
but you-
microbiology background helped me because what I didn't know is formula. There's microorganisms that actually grow in
the
formula.
formula.
Yes.
That's actually so
So
interesting.
if you have acidified formula, they can't grow, and that made sense to me because I had the microbiology background, because you can't grow organisms in an acidic environment. So
Sure.
that made sense. So it shows that science is all connected.
I do not know how you guys do your science because wow, I struggled. Science was science.
Yeah.
it's hectic.
It is,
But I'm
right.
like that's a good thing. Hey there! I hope you're enjoying the channel so far. If you'd like to be part of the interviews, please feel free to email me at info@leewednesdays.co.za, or you can follow us on our Instagram page, which is Lee's Knowledge Sharing. Bye! Welcome back to Lee's channel. We are talking to Omphemetse Masango. Omphe, you are now in nutrition. You did say that you're now in nutrition. What exactly what are you doing there? Because you're speaking about formulas,
Yes.
and so I think all moms would actually be interested in that because, we buy formulas and you never know which one is the right one. So what exactly are you doing there?
So now I do infant nutrition. So infant nutrition is different formulas as well as cereals.
Okay.
So we know that a mom is supposed to breastfeed. That's like golden standard.
Yes.
But unfortunately, there are medical conditions. Or sometimes even the other day I was talking to a doctor and he actually just had a baby and then his wife passed away, unfortunately. So then I had to give him advice on what to use now that
For the baby.
the baby couldn't breastfeed anymore. So such things do happen, and it's really sad. So yes, the golden standard is always for moms to breastfeed, but in the event that they're not able to breastfeed, then we give advice to different healthcare professionals. It's GPs, it's dietitians, pediatricians, nurses, pharmacists as well, because we're not allowed to personally interact with moms.
Oh,
Yes, so
okay.
there's a regulation that
Doesn't allow you to
yes,
talk
it
to
protects
moms.
breastfeeding.
Okay.
So we're not allowed to talk to moms at all. So what we do is we talk to healthcare professionals, and then they will convey the message
To the
should there be a need for formula.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. So you guys would test. So now, what do you guys do? Because now, do you run tests on the formulas? Not at all. So you just
No.
give advice.
So what we do is we talk to doctors about the science behind the
Oh,
formula. Yes.
okay.
So at the company that I work at,
Yes.
we use science in order to try and come as close as possible to what breast milk
is.
offers. Yes.
Okay.
Although we can never ever mimic breast milk, but with the different ingredients that we have in the formula, we try and come as close as possible.
Okay. So are you all for breast milk? But then,
Definitely, I breastfed my babies.
but then there's another thing. I think maybe a topic for another day.
Yeah, yeah.
But the pressure of the breastfeeding and the moms. If you can't breastfeed, it's okay.
If you can't, it's definitely okay. We
Yes.
always say it's better for a baby to be fed because there's also a huge malnutrition problem in South Africa. And it's 2021. Why are we having a
Yes.
malnutrition problem in
Yes.
2021?
Yeah.
And it's mainly because there's no information. I think if people are empowered with information, they're able to make better choices.
Better choices.
Yes.
So it's
Sometimes
okay.
you have an abscess in your boob, you're not able to buy donor milk. What then do you do?
Yes.
And the other thing is that not all formulas are the same. So it's
Yes.
important to make an informed choice.
Okay,
Yeah.
so where would you say where was the best place to go? Would it be the doctor, pediatrician to ask for the
Yes,
information?
I'd say go to the pediatrician
yeah.
or the dietitian.
Or
They
dietitian.
specialize
All
with
right.
babies specifically.
Okay.
But GPs also have the information because we see them as well.
To say which one would be the best one.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So you're also a singer. So Omphy is releasing a single very soon.
Yes.
So is that like a hobby? There's something because I know that you sang for Wish.
I sang there for many years.
It
But
is,
I
yeah.
wouldn't say it's a hobby. Oh my goodness, it's a
It's
passion.
a talent, a passion, yeah.
So what happened is I actually wanted to study music. But you know our parents.
That's another thing
Our
about
parents are all for security.
You
security,
defined,
security.
yeah, they
So they
defined.
say, Banami, study something that will be more secure and then you can follow your passion afterwards. So that's why I never studied music or
Okay.
anything. So now that, you know, I'm a career woman, I'm stable. I'm
Now
able to
you're
feed
going
my
back
babies.
to it.
Now I'm
Okay.
actively working on my music.
But what would you say now knowing, because you know what you know now,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
would you say to parents who are trying,
Yeah.
you know, to enforce, you know, the courses to
Jeez.
do for their kids? Because I did say to Anita as well that you are forced the ideal careers that you should follow. So if a person wants to do music, it's like, where are you gonna get or drama or whatever? So
Yeah.
what advice would you say?
True. As a
Or something someone would have told your own family and parents if it's
Yeah.
okay. What would you say?
So as a parent now, I think that the biggest thing for me is noticing or focusing on what my children's strength is and capitalizing, you know, encouraging them because I'm going to reveal now something. So my degree was supposed to be 3 years, but I did it for 5 years because I struggled so much because science was not my strong point.
Sure.
But with music, I can be sleeping and at 3 a.m. I wake up and I start writing a song and I finish it at that time.
Yeah.
And then, you know, weekend I'm recording it, you know. So it's important to know where your child's strengths
Strength
lie.
is, yes.
And I think even with the education system, there's such a focus on science, maths,
Definitely.
accounting, economics. But then there's kids that their strength is soccer. Take them to a soccer academy. You know,
Yes.
their strength is acting. Take them to AFDA or even a school where they focus on cultural. you know.
Yeah,
So it's important to know what your child's strengths is and encourage them with that.
Yeah, that's, I think
Because otherwise it becomes a frustration when they're in varsity where they have to study and you know
They
they have to
don't-
like the
it's not
stress
in
of it
them.
all. It's not in them at all. But because they have to finish it because the parents are like, yes,
Finish
we are
this.
paying, you know.
Finish this.
Then yeah, you become a little bit frustrated.
Yeah, I also mentioned to my sister the other day that it's like if you're not an A student or if you're not doing science, then you are put in the back.
Yes,
But what
you take the back
about
seat.
those girls that are not
Yes.
doing well?
Yeah.
Because it's even the same thing. I think there's now this maths literacy and maths
Yes,
something.
yeah.
So if you they say, okay, you can't do this one because you're not strong enough or
Yeah.
you don't understand it. So what happens to their confidence? You know,
Exactly.
it does a
You know,
lot.
that's what I'm
It
saying.
really
Even the school
discourages
system.
them.
In my school, you know, if you were in the A class, you were doing science, maths, you know, biology.
So you're
If
there.
you were in the B class, you're doing accounting,
Sure.
you're doing economics, you're
Yeah.
doing business economics. And then there's the rest,
Sure.
which is bad
This
because
is very
then
bad.
those kids have this complex that, okay, I'm not
I'm
good
not
enough.
good
I'm not doing
enough.
science, so I'm not good
Exactly.
enough. I'm not
And
intelligent enough.
yeah.
But where are their strengths?
Yes.
Focus on those strengths.
You're right when
you
you're
know.
saying so. There's
Yeah.
there's a problem there in the school system. We really need improvement
Yeah.
there because I mean everybody has some sort
Their
of
own
talent and
strengths, yes.
gift.
I don't
Yes.
think there are any dumb kids. There's no
At
such
all.
thing. There's
At
no
all.
such thing.
At
There is no
all.
such thing. It's just different strengths in different areas. And that's what we need to encourage.
Sure. Okay. All right. So your single is coming out soon, 2nd of April. You said.
2nd of April.
We'll be playing it at the end of this video to hear it out. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Omphy, thank you so much. What would you like to say as a parting shot? Or I say this to all my guests. Please say whatever's in your soul, whatever you'd like to share,
Yes.
whatever, just a words of encouragement because
Yeah.
you do know that it's a ladies, like it's encouragement for everybody who needs it. So whatever's in your heart, please.
I would say, shoo, in chasing being the perfect mom, in chasing being the perfect career woman, remember to live.
Yeah.
Life is so short and it's so fragile. You know, you're here today, tomorrow we hear that you're gone. So in everything, you know, we get so busy with our lives and we forget to live. So for me, the biggest thing right now is remember to live. You want to take the trip? Take the trip.
Take it.
You want to get the tattoo? Get the tattoo.
it.
You know, you want to get the piercing? Do it because
True.
tomorrow is not guaranteed and
Yeah.
life is so, it's precious. We must enjoy it. We must live
Treasure
it.
it and
Yes.
live it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Oh, that's so beautiful.
That's it for me.
Thank you so much, Omphy. Thank you, everyone. This was an amazing session. I enjoyed it.
I also
I
enjoyed
look
it.
forward
Thank
to
you.
having more sessions as well, actually, to bring back the very same ladies that I had, where we can also speak. I'd actually want to one day sit with everybody in one
Yes,
room.
like a round table. That
Yes,
was
so it was
awesome.
just so amazing. We just share. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Lihle Matomane. See you on the next episode.
My soul longs for